the way that the defense has performed, they have really, if they stayed on this pace, a historic defense. And for them to gut out a win, we saw it against the Lakers. Aaron Baines gets some offense going, and you're like, okay. And then the Charlotte Hornets game is kind of this is old school, half court, lockdown defense type of basketball. But it really did all just come to like a poignant head in the Raptors game, because that's how they've been gutting out these wins. It's been defensive effort.
And, I think a lot of people, when people think of defense, they think one-on-one, on-the-ball defense, the guy who's got their hand up, it's going after, really locking them down, just like you see Marcus Morris locking down, Kemba, Jalen doing the same thing largely with DeMar DeRozan. All of them, great one-on-one play, but that's not really what's doing this. I mean, that's one symbol of it, but it's the rebounding. It's 48 minutes of that. There's a reason why they're first in defensive rating. There's a reason why what they're able to do in terms of keeping the other teams down. They're doing everything they need to do. They're first in their effective field goal percentage, fourth in defensive rebounding percentage, fourth in defensive rebounding percentage. The same team that a year ago, yes, I know, all but four were gone, but still, that's remarkable.
Length and athleticism equals rebounding and solid defense, because they can switch. And listen, I love Isaiah Thomas, and I hate to even throw some shade his way, but he did limit the defense. There's no doubt about it. And even Avery Bradley. And I don't want to listen. I appreciated both of those players. I've been saying this all along. I'm so hesitant to say these words, but at the same time, it is such an appreciable improvement of last year, this year, with long, athletic defenders, guys. They can switch on defense, and it's no big deal. And then I'm going to throw a little shade at Amir Johnson's, and I feel more comfortable with this one in saying that, Amir was a great veteran. He's a perfect fit in Philly, but bringing in somebody like Baines to just, power up them biceps and go out there and smack fools around in the paint, boy, has that helped a ton. That toughness gives this team a whole new look over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and I think it's just one more tool, right? It's you can have all the switching and throwing a lot of 6'8" guys at teams, and obviously we've seen that that's a very successful combination with what's gone on in Golden State, but obviously even on the younger level with the guys there in Milwaukee. But you're right. I mean, you're adding with Baines something different that we've had in the past. The strength, the brawn, the guy's willing to mix it up. He doesn't care who he's hitting. Sometimes it's his own players that he's hitting.
Sometimes it happens to be the most important player on the team. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that was tough. But, he's doing everything he needs to do in that end. But the switching, that length on the wing, I want to talk about Baines. I do, but I think that to me,
and Morris, and Rozier, and Larkin. But I know where you're going. Let's hit Brown, the primary
Jason
spot.
Tatum, Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum. 2 years ago, you're playing against the Toronto Raptors, and everything's going right. IT's doing his darndest, and everybody's playing as well as they possibly can, and always falling short. Today, on a team where you don't have Isaiah, you don't have Kyrie, you don't have Gordon Hayward, the Celtics were able to take that game away from the Toronto Raptors at full strength with all of their powers. And you can just look at 6'7" Jaylen Brown and 6'8" or 6'9" Jason Tatum with his go-go gadget arms and his rebounding like Kevin McHale. Yes, Kevin McHale. The dude rebounds like Kevin McHale. The arms up, like they look like they're going all the way to the roof, up to the halo there at the top of the TD Garden.
That's what I loved about Tatum last winter when he started talking about him. And I said, I'm not going to go against the grain, obviously full, but I really love this guy's length. But you know what else? We can talk about the arms with Tatum all we want. A couple of plays over the last week has shown his length also in the legs. Does he have the longest first step in the NBA? Holy moly, that guy covers 2 steps in his first one. And I know he probably got away with a little bit of a travel in the game against the Raptors when he goes and lays it in, but it is amazing how creative he is finding ways to get around players and not just get around them with that first step, like I just said, but up and around them with his long arms through their action. Like they will, to your point about how he rebounds, the defender will have their arms up in the air and he can get that shot off around those arms because he's so long and lay it in behind the defender's reach. This is insanity. And I will also say, just to your point about the Raptors, if you remember last year, who's the player I couldn't wait to see match up against DeRozan, and yet it never came to fruition? It was Jaylen Brown. And they did not play the Raptors style of ball this year. And I think that's where they got caught last season, up and down, up and down, up and down. And then Valanciunas beat the crap out of the Celtics. Well, now they have their own Valanciunas in Baines. And at the same time, they're able to slow down the Raptors offense entirely. And that right there is such a stylistic difference into your approach against the Raptors. No longer am I afraid of that team in terms of matchups like I was the last 2 seasons.